Hey everyone, James here with Easy Internet Radio. Now recently we've had tons and tons of questions in from people all around the world in pretty much every type of organisation going. I'm talking about DJs, bands, musicians, people who are running commercial radio stations, people who want to start their own online radio station, charities, churches, pretty much anything you can think of. These guys all want to broadcast on the internet, and a lot of them don't know how to do it. So I think we've written down a few questions here, and what I've done is I've really summarised these into a couple of really important questions, which I hope are going to address some concerns you may have or some questions you may have in your mind. First of all, the obvious thing is it either contains one or all three of these queries, in no particular order, and it goes something like this. I'm a new user, I'm completely new to this, I've never done anything like this before. I'm on a budget and I'm not terribly technical. Can you help me? Now, if that describes you, don't be put off, because it's completely okay to feel a little bit unsure about starting a radio station online. It's perfectly okay to feel a little bit like you might not know if it's going to work out okay, and that's as I say, that's absolutely fine. So really, I guess my job is to answer these questions for you and give you a little bit more of an insight into why these are not the case. So it doesn't matter if you've never done this before to start off with, just ignore that. If you really want to do this, if you really want to start your own radio station, then you obviously need to adopt the mindset which is going to enable you to do that, and it's going to help you push your station forward and really gain something exciting and build something great. So if you're a new user, if you're new to this, don't worry. If you've not got experience in the radio industry, that's absolutely fine. The great thing about the internet is it's open and available and there for anyone and everyone to use. Unlike, if you're going to start an FM radio station, for example, you don't have to jump through loads of loopholes. You don't have to get past a whole bunch of red tape. The internet is there. You don't have to attain some sort of license to broadcast via the internet, although if you plan on broadcasting copyrighted material, you will need to ensure that you're paying royalties for it, but that's another discussion. But as far as like broadcasting on FM, you have to have a big fancy license to do so. On the internet, there's no licenses like that, so that's the first thing you need to know. Okay, so the second part of the question is, I'm on a budget. I don't have thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands to invest, or millions to invest in my radio station. So is this for me? Well, I'll start by saying this. You can't start a radio station on the internet with zero investment, but you can start a radio station on the internet with very, very little investment. Now, just like anything, guys, it always comes down to the age-old saying of, you get what you pay for, and obviously, you get out what you put in. So yes, you can start a radio station online on a shoestring budget, right? But don't expect big, fancy things. Don't expect it to do everything you want it to do. You can get a simple broadcasting directly from your computer for a few dollars a month, or for a little bit extra, you can get something called Auto DJ, which is where you can actually upload the music onto a server, and the radio station will be live. You can set up a playlist, and you don't have to worry about it. But the things, if you want to start getting into more technical stuff or more demanding stuff, like for example, if you want to start setting up a home studio where you have a mixing desk, you have microphones, maybe you want to have coolers on the air, and you need to buy a sort of an audio interface for the telephone system, all this sort of stuff, the prices can start racking up and you can end up spending a little bit more money. However, that's not to say that you have to spend literally thousands of dollars or pounds on your radio station. We've got clients who have got pretty decent home studio setups, which they've only invested, let's say $500 per se, in. Now, if $500 sounds too much to you, that's absolutely fine, because you could go and buy some stuff off Amazon for under $100. It all depends on the level that you want to go to. But I guess the ultimate answer to that is you don't need a huge budget to start an online radio station. In its simple form, you can start one for just a few dollars a month. And we'll get to that in a moment, because I want to give you a great deal we've got on offer here at Easy Internet Radio, which will give you everything you really need to get started. So the final thing is, what do I do if I'm not technical? All right, so if you've never ever used radio studio stuff before, or if you've never built a website before, maybe you haven't done anything kind of like online-y type of stuff before, maybe you're using email, maybe you've used the internet, you've done a bit of shopping online, that's about it. You know how to use Microsoft Word or standard kind of computer software. That's absolutely fine as well, because well, as part of the Easy Internet Radio package, we do actually offer complete training which takes you through everything. But going beyond that, it's not really hard to do. We're not going to be teaching any kind of weird voodoo rocket science or technical computer programming languages or anything like that. It's actually really straightforward, point and click. You might need to download a few bits of free software, install them on your computer, edit the software so it does what you want it to do just by pressing a few buttons, and that's pretty much the depth of it. It's really, really easy stuff that pretty much anyone can learn without any experience in the radio industry or any experience building websites or doing technical stuff. So those are the answers to the 3 common questions that we see coming up time and time again. Really look forward to working with you at Easy Internet Radio, and really what I want to do now is just tell you about the program we've got on offer at the moment and how it can benefit you. Okay, so the Easy Internet Radio package basically involves 3 things. 1, broadcasting live. 2, broadcasting 24/7 so you can turn your computer off at night and walk away. And 3, setting up a website for your radio station as a kind of a home, as a landing page, so your listeners can come and see where you're broadcasting from. So each of the 3 core components has an associated training module with it, and also an associated bit of software or service which we've included. Now, other internet radio services and providers quite often have loads of hidden extras, e.g. you'll have to buy everything separately and it can be a little bit confusing what you need, or they'll have one service and one bit of software, and then they'll turn around to you further down the line and say, well, you also need to buy this extra bit of software to do what you want, or you need to purchase this additional service. The software alone isn't enough. Well, what we've done is we've put together a really comprehensive package that not only contains all the software you need to do what you want to do, but also training on how to use it. So we've got 3 different video course modules, and each module has maybe between 5 and 10 videos which take you through all the steps of that particular process. So in the first module, for example, we're going to be learning how to set up a radio station as a live broadcast. So you'll be able to plug your microphone into your computer, you'll be able to load up a playlist with your MP3s, you'll be able to click a few buttons, and then you'll be able to broadcast on the internet, and people will be able to tune in from anywhere in the world and listen to your radio station using all the common desktop media players like iTunes, Windows Media Player, etc, etc. Likewise, the second module, as I mentioned earlier, is 24/7. It's all about having your radio station live around the clock, so people can come at any time of day or night and listen to it, and you don't have to actually be sat there physically doing a show or broadcasting, because let's face it, no one can sit at their computer 24 hours a day, so it's always a good idea to have your radio station on just with some music or with some pre-recorded content or pre-recorded shows you've done in the past to keep people happy and keep them coming back. And finally, setting up a website. Now, I think this is what puts off a lot of new broadcasters. You may want to do the radio stuff, but you may not really be interested in doing this kind of website building task that comes along with running an internet radio station. Well, we've worked out, fortunately for you, we've worked out a really easy way of doing this. So you don't need to learn HTML, you don't need to learn PHP or Photoshop or any of the stuff, or Dreamweaver, or any of the stuff you may associate with building websites. With the system that we use, all you do is just follow through with our tutorials. We'll show you exactly how to set the website up. As I said, no programming knowledge is needed because we're not even going to be doing any HTML, and it's just a case of clicking a few buttons. Occasionally there might be a bit of copy and pasting going on, but that's pretty much it. It's pretty much like building a website using a really easy tool. Like, imagine if you're making a website in Word, for example. If you can make your text bold, you can change the colors, you can change the fonts, you can insert images, all really, really easy to do. No technical knowledge required, and I can't stress that enough. I know I've said that a few times. So the offer we have is the $19 trial with Easy Internet Radio. Now, this will allow you to have up to 50 listeners at one time. And don't be put off if you want to hold a lot more listeners than 50, because although 50 listeners will only be able to tune in at one time, you'll be able to have potentially thousands of different listeners throughout the course of a month. Because bear in mind, you won't just have people who listen 24/7. Again, listeners come and go, and the average listen time, say, is only an hour. So each hour, people will come in, come out, and throughout the course of the day, you'll maybe have a few hundred listeners. Throughout the course of the month, indeed, you'll probably get a few thousand listeners. So after the first month at $19, the price then raises, it's kind of like a trial, so it raises up to $49 a month, and that does include everything you need, so there's no hidden extras here, and you can cancel at any time. There's no long contracts or anything, but really the idea of the $19 trial is just to allow you to get your feet wet and try internet radio. If you decide at the end of the first month that it's not for you, that's absolutely fine. All you have to do is drop us an email and cancel. That's absolutely fine. We're not going to hold you to anything long term. So hopefully this video has proved a little bit educational, and my questions, or the questions that are coming in, maybe you have had yourself and you wanted some of these addressing. Hopefully I've answered them for you. So if you want to take advantage of the $19 trial offer we've got, just click on the button below. You'll begin the first modules training immediately. So within a few hours from now, you'll have your own online radio broadcast, and it'll be really exciting and a lot of great fun as well. Thanks for watching.